Hey, you guys, welcome back to Rebuilding a Kick-Ass Life. So you know what? I did a video yesterday. It was about, I'm going to say 20 to 30 minutes long. And I was having a really hard time uploading it onto YouTube. Thank God, because at the end of the day, I decided against posting it. So I posted it actually to my my Instagram subscriber section. So there's a limited amount of people that can see it. And then I thought, okay, well, I'm not going to post it to YouTube, but I do want to talk about what it was. And essentially, it was me laying in my bed with my coffee. I feel like coffee is such a, I don't know, comfort for me. Here you go. Can't even see it. It's in there. Yeah, and with my coffee, crying. I think I cried throughout the entire video. And although this page is about rebuilding a kick-ass life, I'm going to talk about why I was crying and how I've now had the time to compose myself and be able to have this conversation that I think is important to have, but be in a better frame of mind. Okay, hi. For those of you that are new here, my name is Emily, and I set out on this journey of rebuilding a kick-ass life about 8 years ago after my second divorce, where I completely fell apart for a while. And then upon, sort of trying to get back on my feet and leaving that marriage with no way to support myself, no spousal support, no job, and no income, I am here now 8 years later, having made it. And that's why I started this whole journey of doing this YouTube and Instagram and Facebook on rebuilding a kick-ass life, because I want to help to inspire you all to do the same thing if you're in a similar situation, or if you are feeling stuck or like you can't do it on your own. Well, I'm here to say, yes, you can. We can do hard things. And so I yesterday decided I'm not going to post the video, but then today I have a different mindset. And although I'm not going to post the video with my runny, snotty nose, and actually it wasn't, but it was just me boo-hooing the entire time. It just goes to show that this too shall pass. This gray hair has to pass. Anyway, I canceled my appointment yesterday. I was supposed to get my gray hair done yesterday, and I canceled my appointment. And in fact, I canceled my entire day and spent the entire day in bed in my feels, which I think is okay to do. It is okay to take a mental health break. It is okay to not be okay, because today, after having a good night's sleep, I feel so much better. And sometimes we just need to take the time to feel it, feel it to heal it. And I was just having a moment where I was feeling disillusioned. I was feeling like life is not fair. I was feeling tired. I was feeling, and what I mean by tired is not tired physically, although that too, but tired emotionally, tired mentally. Hang on one second. Coho, all I can hear is you chewing your rubber toy. Coho, thank you. Sorry. And so what happened was, okay, let me just back up a little bit. So I have a cousin who's 49 who was diagnosed with breast cancer a few years ago. last year, after having been in remission for a while, it's come back with a vengeance. And so I had a conversation with my mom, who, by the way, oh my God, that's a whole other story. My mom's been in the hospital. My mom ran over herself with her own car. My dad's been in and out of the hospital. He has had 4 strokes, congestive heart failure, aortic aneurysm, high blood pressure, and he's a diabetic. Don't even ask me how he's still standing. I can't explain that. But I've been dealing with that, oh my gosh, for years with my dad. And then my mom was visiting him in the hospital and ran over herself with her own car. She forgot to put it in park. And the car pinned her under the car. And so we were dealing with that. Now, they live about 3 hours away. So myself and my sisters have been rotating to try and offer help to them. Especially when my mom was back at home. So we've rigged the entire house. We've done everything we can. It was exhausting for a while there, back and forth, driving back and forth 3 hours to stay a few days and then rotating with my sisters. So we've rigged the whole house with ramps and handrails in the showers and rails on the beds and Meals on Wheels and in-care home to have them bathed and just everything. So that's finally started to settle down a little bit. And then after that has settled down, then my cousin who's 49, she may have turned 50, I think, this July, has 3 kids. The youngest is 9 or 10, and he's special needs. I think the oldest might be 16. And the cancer has come back with a vengeance. And then I had a conversation with my mom a couple of days ago that she is in the hospital now. And see, yesterday when I was telling the story, I was sobbing. And I just feel more of a sense of calm and peace today. So this too shall pass. Remember that. Anyway, I was just sobbing, thinking of the fact that she is cognitive. She knows that she's going to be dying and that she's going to be leaving behind 3 children, one of which is special needs. And so that must be like, that just must, oh my God, I can't even imagine. I cannot even imagine what it's like to know that, see, if I think about it too deeply, I am going to start crying. Can you imagine knowing that you're dying and you're not going to see your kids graduate or get them getting married or your grandbabies or whatever? Now, I know that life isn't guaranteed and that none of us have, none of us know, I could be gone tomorrow. I'd rather just be gone tomorrow than have to actually think about it. And I think everyone's different. Like, some people might want to prepare and spend time and whatever. I don't think I would. I think I would just, I don't know, get hit by a train or something rather than having this long, drawn out process of being on my deathbed. And so I was dealing with that, with knowing that she's now in the hospital, may not return back home. And that's just devastating and not fair. And then I have a nephew who was admitted to the hospital as well. He's 19. He was supposed to be going to university yesterday, and that he did get moved in, but then had to report back to the hospital because a couple of weeks ago, bruises started showing up on his body, unexplicable bruises, started on the extremities and then moved to his trunk. And so the bruises were pretty substantial and deep, dark, red, huge bruises. And oh my God, if you guys don't want to listen to this, I don't blame you. Go! Why must you always start chewing a second I get on a video? Please, Cokers, please. Or maybe it's Hudson. I don't know. I've got 2 dogs back there. Anyway. And so they didn't really think much of the bruises because, he's an 18, 19-year-old kid. They're whatever. How many times do I show up with bruises? And I'm like, I don't know where that came from. So they didn't think anything of it. But then when they started showing up on his extremities, they started getting a little bit concerned. So they took him into the hospital. And as it turns out, his blood platelet count was 4. Now, apparently, to have a healthy blood platelet count, it's between 80 and I think 120. His was at 4. So he was admitted right away, and they started treatment, steroids and other things. And I honestly don't even know what the treatment was, but they started treatment and don't know what's wrong, and are doing all the tests. I think he was in the hospital for a couple of days. He came up to, gosh, I don't remember what he came up to, but his numbers came up high enough that they were able to release him, and he went off to university yesterday. He had a blood test in the morning, and then the results came in after they'd moved him all into university. The results came in that they were way back down again. And the doctor called and advised them to go get back to the hospital. And you know, they're throwing around words like leukemia. And I was just having a day after learning about my cousin, and then now with my nephew. And my sister sent me a picture of him laying in the hospital bed on the day that he should have been sleeping in his apartment for the first time with his friends, off to start university. And no kid wants to have to go through that. And this is the sweetest, kindest, most gentlest kid. And so to see him laying in that hospital bed, all hooked up to tubes and stuff, and he had, I think the first time he had a blood transfusion, platelet transfusion. And I just thought, what is going on? Like, not fair. Life is just not fair. Did you guys hear about the 2 brothers that were hockey players that have just, that were killed by a drunk driver the day before their sister's wedding? I mean, my God, just devastating, just horrible, horrible, horrible things. So it was just so much. And then to top it all off, the third thing was my other sister, who called to say that they were going to be putting Rudy down. Rudy is their golden retriever, who was 11. And so I think after hearing that, I have dogs. We are an animal loving family. There's 3 dogs in our family. And after hearing that, I was just more than what I could take. And I just started crying, and I canceled my day. I canceled my appointment to color my hair, which one of these days I swear I'm just gonna go all gray. And I was just having a moment. And then I laid in my bed and I did a video about how easy it is to get sucked down a rabbit hole when things don't go right, and when things are unexpectedly show up in our lives. And I was feeling like, boo-hoo, woe is me, why is all this shit happening to my family? Like, what the hell? And then I started talking about how I've always been a person that has had to be strong. Like, I've never had the luxury of not being strong, because I've always been on my own. And what I mean by being on my own, even when I was married, I always felt alone. I remember being married with my second marriage and feeling like, why am I even married? I might as well just be on my own. I'm doing everything by myself anyway. It just never felt like we were a couple, or that we were so connected. I remember going to weddings out of town by myself. I remember moving my kids in and out of university by myself. I remember packing up my children, packing up their apartments, renting a U-Haul, packing that up, and either bringing them back home or taking them to university by myself. One of my children played varsity football at university, and I would go to the games, the home games, which was a 6-hour drive, by myself. My other son played varsity hockey, but he was in a whole other province out west, so I didn't get to go to those. But I just remember always feeling alone, and I just always remember feeling like I just needed to stand on my own 2 feet and just handle shit. And I feel like I've been like that ever since I was a little kid, because we immigrated to Canada from Portugal. And when you do that, when your parents don't speak the language, I felt like I was always the parent taking care of my parents, reading the paperwork, reading their taxes, reading their state bills and their statements, because they didn't, not only did I not speak the language, they didn't read. They barely went to school themselves in Portugal. They didn't have a very high education. And so I always feel like and felt like I had to be the adult. And listen, in my as a child, with the dynamic of my parents, and their relationship, I always felt like I had to be a protector for my mom, because it was very tumultuous, horrible situation. And I felt like that's carried on from childhood into adulthood. And so yesterday I felt like I'm just so tired of having to be the strong one. I'm so tired of braving it alone, you know? Do you ever feel like that? Like I just want someone that I can periodically, not even all the time, just periodically, someone to say to me, I got you. Take a break. Sit this one out. I'm here for you. Just somebody to have my back, or just a really just soft place to land at the end of a really stressful, emotionally draining day. I would just for once love to have someone that can just bear the weight that's on my shoulders. And I was feeling like that so much yesterday. I was just tired. I didn't want to hear any more bad news. I didn't want to have to be the strong one. I just wanted to curl up in my bed and just be and not think or do anything. And that was my day yesterday. And so oftentimes I get told, or I have this misconception, or people have this misconception of me, that I can be really tough, bitchy, hardened, like tough exterior. And it's been brought up a few times. And what I want to say to that is, if you know someone who has that persona of being somebody that is just has that tough exterior, and just a really tough nut to crack, and is has walls built up and you can't get through them, and they've got all these barriers, that is for a reason, you guys. I'm telling you. For me, if that is the persona that I put out there, it is because I've had no choice but to be tough and hard. I have not had the luxury of being able to just be soft and to just let somebody else take care of it or handle it, because I have never had that. And when you build up the walls and you have this tough exterior shell of I can do it myself, I don't need anyone, that is such a defense mechanism, because we have been let down so much. We have been disappointed so much by people in our lives, by people that are supposed to love us and take care of us. We have been let down over and over and over again, and disappointed so much that we would just rather not feel the pain of being yet again let down and disappointed, and just deal with whatever it is on our own. It is really hard to ask for help when you have had a lifetime of constantly having to look out for yourself and stand on your own 2 feet. It's tough, it's hard. You feel so vulnerable asking for help, and you feel so vulnerable expecting help. Accepting help. It's just one of the hardest things we can say is help. One of the hardest things that we can admit is that we need someone. And it's not because that person is a bitch or is hard to get along with or is difficult or is any of those things. It's because that person doesn't know any better. That person has always had to rely on themselves. And so they're just going to keep relying on themselves rather than take the risk of being hurt or disappointed or let down yet again. And so I just really wanted to reiterate that if you know somebody in your life like that, because I do get told that often. And listen, can I just say something? There is nothing more that I would like than to have that soft place to land at the end of the day. There is nothing more that I would like than to have somebody say, I got you. I got it. Take a break. You're good. Let me carry this burden for you. I would love that. I would. But I don't have that. And since, excuse me, I just burped. Oh my God, this is so real. I've got a dog here wanting my attention so bad. I've got a cat here. I've got another dog back there. Anyway, you guys, my point is, yes, of course, when we are left to handle things on our own, of course we can do it. Of course we can stand on our own 2 feet because we have no choice. We have to. A failure is not an option. But if people come across as being a little overbearing and a lot, that's because we've had no choice. This is a rescue. His name is Koho. He's from Pakistan. And he's been with us for, I'm going to say, probably 10 years. Because I got divorced 8 years ago and we had him in the old house. And I've been out of that marriage for over 8 years. And I think he was about 2 then. So he's about 10. Such a suck. You love him. Well, I have a love-hate relationship with him, to be honest. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm so glad that I actually waited to do this video when I was less emotional. But again, I think I wanted to do this video when I'm less emotional to really let you know that yesterday it was horrible. I was crying all day. I went back into my pajamas. I just laid in bed. Could not see the light at the end of the tunnel. Could not. I was just feeling so sorry for myself and sorry for my family members and sorry for everybody and doom and gloom and life is not fair and why is life like this? And then today I have a whole new perspective and it's like, well, it's the struggles in life that make us stronger. It's the struggles in life that make us enjoy the good times even more, because I think that without joy you cannot feel sorrow, and without sorrow you cannot feel joy, because you would not know the difference. And so I have such a different mindset today. That's not to say that I'm not going to feel that way again, or that disaster can, strike my family and I'm not going to go, retreat back into myself again. But I feel that we should feel it. We should feel it because we do need to feel it to heal it. And I'm glad that I took that day yesterday to just cry and just be by myself and just wallow in my self-pity. And sometimes just having that really good release, that really good cry, just you wake up with a different mindset. And so today I do feel much better, and that just proves that this too shall pass. And doesn't matter what it is in life, whether it's good things happening in your life or bad things happening in your life, nothing is forever. So enjoy the good while you can, because you just never know when that can change, and everything can change like that, like those hockey players that were unfortunately struck and killed by a drunk driver, the 2 brothers, and everything can change like that. So enjoy the good when you can, and don't get so low and so stuck in the bad, because nothing is forever. And that's a really important thing. I'm going to end it on saying it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to feel it. It's okay to feel the pain. It's okay to feel the hurt. It's okay to feel the devastation. It's okay to feel all that. Just be really, 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 really careful that you don't stay stuck in those feelings. Don't stay stuck there. Feel it for a day, to I don't know, 3, 4, a week. I don't know, eat a friggin' gallon of ice cream, order pizza, do whatever you have to do, and then rise up, rise above it. There is always, always, always the sun behind the clouds. Somebody said that to me one day, and I'm like, that's a really great analogy. That's a really great, there's always the sun behind the clouds, and it might not be out today or tomorrow or the day after, but eventually, the sun is gonna come out again. Okay, I feel really cozy in this, and my coffee. So I'm still sort of self-soothing, but I feel so much better than I did yesterday emotionally. Stronger, I feel stronger. Okay guys, hope you got something out of my little rant today. Talk soon.